Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our 2020 Bravo Entrepreneur of the Year Awards presentation. I'm Jeff Nuttall, publisher of BizWest, the print and digital business journal of Northern Colorado and the Boulder Valley. This evening, as we have done since 1998, we are celebrating the most prevalent driving force in business, entrepreneurs. Of these entrepreneurs, we salute their tenacity, their creativity, and their drive. By the program's end, we'll have welcomed 3 of our region's most passionate business people into the Academy of Bravo alumni, plus a second-time recognition for Larry Kendall. For our audience, if you'd like to keep up with today's events, you can use hashtag Bravo2020. Our sincere appreciation goes to the companies that are supporting the spirit of entrepreneurship as sponsors this year. And this is our first virtual Bravo Entrepreneur program, and I want to extend our thanks to our honorees, our attendees, and of course our sponsors for hanging in there and dealing with COVID-19. And even though this is happening, you're supporting this program in a virtual way. With that, I'd like to recognize our title sponsors. They are FNBO and Flood & Peterson Insurance. And we have a welcome video for you all from Nathan Ewert, Market President with FNBO, and Brett Kemp, President of Flood & Peterson Insurance.
Well, good evening, Northern Colorado. My name is Nathan Ewert. I'm the Regional Vice President for First National Bank of Omaha, or as you may have seen with our recent rebranding, FNBO. Meeting virtually at this point has likely become normal as we've all had to adjust and adapt over the past 6 months. So I just thank you for taking the time to honor this year's award winners. Once again, FNBO is pleased to be one of the title sponsors of the coveted Bravo Awards. You may not be aware, but each recipient is presented with the Self-Made Man or the Self-Made Woman bronze trophy. And the implication behind the trophy is that there is nothing given to us. There is no substitution for hard work and longevity, and there is an absolute commitment to excellence. The award captures a connection to the struggles and triumphs of life. And how timely. In an unprecedented environment such as this, what a great way to honor our 4 nominees, Larry, Jeff, Mike, and Larry. But what a great message for all of us right now when we think about our own commitment to our communities, supporting local businesses that make up our community and that need our support now more than ever. On behalf of FNBO, a bank that knows something about longevity, 160 years, and the entrepreneurial spirit by being led by 6th-generation family ownership. Congratulations to this year's Bravo Award winners. Thank you.
My name is Brett Kemp, the president of Flood & Peterson, and we are honored to be a sponsor of this year's Bravo Awards. I'd like to congratulate BizWest for doing an amazing job since 1998 of gathering Northern Colorado entrepreneurs and recognizing the risks they've taken, the jobs they've created, and the opportunities they've created all over Northern Colorado. So congratulations, BizWest, on another great process this year. We're coming to you virtually, right? It'd be great to see everybody in person, but today, this year's awards have to take a different spin. Does not change the spirit of the award or the opportunity to get together and congratulate both the winners as well as the nominees. Each of you have put so much at risk. You had ideas, you had plans, many of you had successes and probably had numerous failures during your time in business. Our company was founded by 2 entrepreneurs 81 years ago, and everyone at Flood & Peterson recognizes the value of someone having an idea and the risk and the opportunity to perpetuate a company that has been able to create jobs and work with many of you here in Northern Colorado for the last 81 years. Thank you again for everything you do, not just in your business and not just for your employees, but for each other, the ability to work together, and everything that you've done to make this region a beacon of what communities can be and for people looking around the country.
of pivoting for this virtual event, taking the time to get together and produce that video for us, as well as take the time to go see all of our honorees this evening and hand off trophies and flowers. And speaking of flowers, our supporting sponsor again this year is Palmer Flowers. And our associate sponsor again this year is Da Vinci Sign Systems. I think we've got an image for Da Vinci. There they are. Last year, we started something new with our program, the Bravo Entrepreneur Masterclass, where several past honorees sat down on stage with us and told us a little bit about their stories. We had Connie Doan, Wynn Odell, Kurt Richardson, and Bob Toynton, whose thoughts and prayers are with us right now. This year, we are honored to have Scott Ehrlich of Ehrlich Motors, who is an honoree from 2002, Susan Jessup of Sylvandale Guest Ranch, who is an honoree from 2006, and Martin Lind from Water Valley, who is an honoree from 2007. And before we get started, I want to mention to the audience that there is a chat feature in the tool, the Vimeo tool that we're using here. So if you want to send us questions for our master class, someone will retrieve those through that chat feature, and I can ask that question for you. All right, let's get started. And Scott, I'd like to start with you since you're on the left side there, and our honoree from 2002. There he is, looking good. Please, and this question, questions actually will be for all of our master class tonight. So starting with you, Scott, please provide some perspective about how your business started, if your dad did that, and sort of the history that Ehrlich Motors has had in northern Colorado.
All right, Jeff, thank you. I'd be honored to do that. I was fortunate because I was given a great opportunity by my father, Swede Ehrlich, who began working on cars at Swede's Repair Shop in 1946 in North Greeley. He started out all by himself, and then in the 50s, he actually moved to LaSalle for a bigger shop and started employing more people, working on more cars, started to buy, sell cars. In 1960, he became a new car dealer with Volvo, and in 63, he got Datsun. And fast forward, I became a partner with him and got an ownership in 1989. So I'm showing my age there, but anyhow, it all worked out. We've done several acquisitions over the years and had a lot of different franchises. But that's kind of how the Ehrlich name got going and got established in Weld County.
Thank you, Scott. Susan, how about you? You've got a long-lasting history with the Dude Ranch in northern Colorado. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, first of all, I'm very honored to be here with Scott, because Scott, our parents started the same year, 1946. And I didn't know that about Ehrlich Motors, but we are definitely connected. The history of Sylvandale goes back an awfully long way. Actually goes back 1,000 years ago, one far. But moving up in time, the Utes and the Arapaho were here in 12,000. And then in the 1600s, the European settlers came into this valley and actually named it Sylvandale, which means wooded valley. In the 1960, there was a cattle ranch here by the name of Friend Neville. People would love.
You're a Windows demo.
You're in it?
Okay, I'll go roll it.
Great.
Their family had an orchard business, and Friend Neville was actually a cattleman. And then in the 1929, it was a Christian church in Nebraska. They ran it as a summer school for students, and eventually a boy and girl. And it was during that period, the early 30s, my dad came here to work one summer as a counselor at the boy and girl camp. He fell in love with this place and made a statement. Reverend Wilson I love this place, and someday I'm going to buy Sylvan. 11 years later, his dream came true.
All right, thank you, Susan. We're having a little bit of difficulty hearing you, or at least I am. There's some background noise. Martin, can you hear me okay? How's things going for you?
I can hear you good. I think somebody doesn't have their thing on mute. So if you can mute when you're not talking, that helps a ton. Can you hear me, Rich?
You sound fine. Go ahead and tell us about your history. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I'm honored to be here. Thanks, Jeff. And what a pedigree of entrees to be aligned with today. So I'm honored. It's very similar history. My parents were great, honorable, great parents. And the good news is, about the time Scott was going into business with his dad, my dad and I were going broke farming. So had to go out and do something else. And quick 30 years later, to coin a phrase, it's an overnight success. So we're excited to be here. Water Valley actually belonged to Kodak, the property did. And through about 10 years of partnerships and different things, we mined gravel and formed a thing that we really felt would be a fun place to live. And it's just been a good grace of God and low interest rates that we're still here. And things are really manifesting, and we're really excited to be here and happy to join this pedigree of great entrepreneurs.
Awesome. Martin, let's just stay with you. Tell us about some of the big ideas that you had that really catapulted your career and your success.
Well, the biggest thing was not looking at obstacles and thinking it would be impossible. It would be more just looking at things as if, well, if somebody else can do them, then so can we. And the case in point on that is the gravel operation. We didn't know a damn thing about gravel when we started, but we hired some people that did, and we ended up being a fairly large producer. And what we left with the wake of the gravel operation was some fantastic golf course canvas, some lake canvas, and we just painted it in exactly how we thought Mother Nature would have done it if it would have been natural. And had a lot of fun doing it, a lot of tribulations, a lot of learning curves. But, again, we were really blessed in an era in America where interest rates have been under 10% now for almost 50 years. And that's the game changer. That gives you a window of opportunity. So those were the biggest things, is just never looking at something as an obstacle, just something that, well, can we hire the people, or do we know how to do it, and go do it.
Okay. Susan, how about you? How would you answer that question?
I think the positive attitude that Martin mentioned is true of any entrepreneur. You've got to believe in what you're doing and just go for it, as you said. My dad, I think the big idea that my dad carried with him, and I now carry with me, is his philosophy. That was, don't worry about what you don't have. Know where you're going and start going there. Don't get paralyzed in analysis, or don't get discouraged by what might seem impossible. Just start going there. And that is the way. If he hadn't have had this philosophy, we would not have had this beautiful place to share with people all over the years, because his first opportunity to purchase Sylvandale, 125 acres at that time, he did not have any money. It was at the end of World War II. And if he wouldn't have carried that philosophy, he would have not even tried. But I won't get into the details. I'll save the details for another time around the campfire. But I would say that is the biggest idea. He was kind of a big idea guy, and my mom, bless her heart, was behind him, and he couldn't have done it without her. I want to give her full credit. But he was always kind of on the edge of things, and he wanted to make this place a place where people could come and get away. He called it a little jewel, and his passion was to create natural things for people to do and to have memorable experiences.
And it looks like you have mom and dad behind you supporting you tonight. Is that what we're seeing in the picture in the background there? That's very nice.
Those are my mom and dad. It's the most beautiful picture.
Scott, how about you? We muted him. Martin scared him.
Yeah, Martin talked me into muting, and then I forgot. But I did want to say that I appreciate what the other two have said. I've known Martin a long time, and I was a witness to his transformation that he spoke about, and so it was good to hear that again from him. But I too was strongly influenced by my father, and I guess the things that he always emphasized were always try to find the right people to surround yourself with. Don't be afraid to hire people smarter than you are, and let them do their job. So he always inspired a lot of confidence in me and everybody else on the team. Always was very encouraging. And I was just very fortunate to have a mentor and a role model like him. And that's definitely what helped shape the way I got into business and the way I did things for a long time.
Scott, how many hours a day do you work? And can you kind of describe a typical day for us?
Well, Jeff, I'm a bit embarrassed to say that at the age I'm at now, I'm really not working as hard or the hours that I used to. Although I have a number of different things going on in different areas aside from the car business. And my mind stays pretty busy just trying to keep track of everything and stay in touch with everybody. I'm fortunate because in the car dealerships, I have all operators. I've not been an operator now for years. I think it would be difficult for me to do that because these new young guys understand the game a lot better and understand the market a lot better. But I still talk to them every day, and I enjoy the conversations and having them fill me in on what's going on. And I'm primarily a resource provider and an asset manager at this stage. But I don't really feel it as if I'm working nearly as hard as I used to. I'm fortunate in that regard because I get to spend time with my lovely wife of 29 years doing other things.
That's great. And of course, the auto industry is one that's been vastly changed by the internet, right? People are kind of figuring out online what they want before they even call you.
That's exactly right. We don't have too many people come in the door that haven't already been online and already interacted with us prior to coming into the dealership. Most everybody has been in contact with us online, looked at our stuff and narrowed it down. And then we just, a lot of times, honestly, are just helping finish the transaction and letting them do that. They still like to touch and see automobiles, even though the internet really helps them narrow it down and figure out what they want prior to coming in.
Yeah.
So
still got to drive that baby, right? Before you decide. Yeah, that makes sense. Susan, how about you? What's a typical day like for you?
For me?
First of all, I never have worked a day in my life. I'm sorry, who were you asking, Jeff? I'm sorry.
I was shifting to you, Susan.
Good.
Okay, all right. I just want to say I've never worked a day in my life. But when you do what you love and your work is your passion, it's hard to call it work. My day is, I guess I'd call what I do a lifestyle. So a lifestyle is 24 hours. However, I do sleep and have good night sleeps. And I can get up in the morning at 6 and I can go to bed at 11. And sometimes that takes that whole time to do what I need to do. Yeah, I guess that's the best way to describe my work.
That's a good answer. Martin, how do you stay off the golf course when you look out your office window and see that every single day? What are you spending your time on?
Well, I drive my buddies nuts because I watch it go round and round all day long, and I just watch it. I don't golf a whole lot. Might be a little bit of the moonshiners that drank their own whiskey. They all went broke, so I try to enjoy the golf for the sport that it is and the fun and the beer drinking part of it that I like to do when I'm out golfing. But I don't take it too serious, and it's a beautiful thing to look at every day, though, and you see a lot of fun out there. I can tell you that.
I'm sure. So tell me, everyone, how has being an entrepreneur affected your family life? Scott alluded to the fact that these days he gets to spend more time. Tell us a little bit about how you've worked with that. Let me say it like this. You've managed the work-life balance. Martin, go ahead and start that one off.
Okay, Jeff. When people ask me about entrepreneurship, I tell them they better be prepared to be lonely, because you don't get to go in and punch in with 20 of your peers every morning. You don't get to go to a cafeteria and have lunch. Entrepreneurship is you're on your own, and there are times where you don't have people to lean on. And when tough times come, the buck stops with you. So being an entrepreneur is very rewarding, though, also, because you get to pick and choose the people or the places that you want to do business, and also, your family time. I've been married for 34 years right now, and that's a giant key to my success is Vicky's support of this entrepreneurial challenge, because it is challenging. And like Susan said, sun up to sundown. We laugh about it here. We tell people that we're down to half days now, sun up to sundown. So that's what we do. And so it's a challenge, but it's also very rewarding. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. I just love being an entrepreneur.
Susan, you have family on the ranch with you.
Well, I did. My children have flown the nest, and my grandchildren as well. But during the time that I did have a family, was here, you make time. You do need to make time for your family. But in our case, also, we live here on the ranch, so the ranch becomes also part of our family time. Our guests become our extended family, and it's a little different type of lifestyle than another business type, because our home is here on the ranch as well. We certainly didn't vacation very, very much of it all. Going back to my dad's generation, they used to say, "Morris, why don't you take a vacation sometime?" And he'd say, "Well, I'm on vacation all year in the winter," because he was in the schools. By the way, Weld County. He was in the Weld County schools. He was a principal of Heath Junior High for 16 years, and in the latter part, he was a curriculum coordinator for the whole school district. So I had a great childhood, because I got to be a town kid in winter and then a ranch kid in the summer. So he would say, "Well, in the summer, I have a vacation from school. And in the winter, I have a vacation from Sylvandale. So I have year-round vacation."
Mm-hmm. How about you, Scott?
Well, we grew up, my brother and I both working closely with my father. I have 3 adult sons. They're all choosing their own paths, and I'm happy for them. And I don't know if they'll come back and choose to be in business with me or not. But I would certainly welcome them. I think I've scared them off, because I told them how hard they're going to have to work, and that it's not just going to be given to them. And so far, maybe that's part of it. They don't seem to want to jump into that. So I don't know. We'll see what happens from here. But I have so many long-term associates in the dealership that feel like family to me. We've got a few of them that we've been together for over 30 years. So I kind of have a family at work too, even though we're not blood relation.
Scott, how do you generate new ideas? How's that process work for you?
Well, I don't think I generate as many as I used to. There was a day when I'd get up in the morning and decide I'm going to go rent a Pink Panther uniform and stand out in front of the dealership and try to get people to pull in. Obviously, my role has changed, but I do still come up with ideas about things we need to change at the dealership or things that we aren't offering our customers that we should. And then mostly a lot of my thought is just about trying to see if there's other pieces we should add that we don't currently have. So, you know, I think a lot of my ideas honestly come to me in my dreams and in my sleep. And then sometimes in the morning I can still remember them. And some of them aren't so good, quite honestly. They're not worth trying. But I hope that answers that question.
Well, if my camera's good, it looks like that neckerchief is pink. So you're still sporting the pink look. I like it. Good job.
Well, thank you, Jeff.
Susan,
And
how
you know,
about you?
we all have to
Yeah,
have
there
a
you go.
mask these days. So that's what that handkerchief is for.
And so why not pink? I mean, that's my point, right?
There you go.
Susan, how
There
about you? Where do you get your ideas from? Yeah.
Yeah, our guests really provide us with a lot of good ideas. We make sure that we let them know we are listening to them. My stablemate and I at one time were going to go stay a night at every cabin because until you stay somewhere, you just don't see it the same. But we couldn't give up our bed. We didn't want to stay 12 nights in different places. So I just tell the guests, please tell us everything because we're counting on you. And they do come forward with some important things and some interesting things for us to try. I think also adversity opens the door to new ideas. We get pretty used to doing what we're doing and continue doing that because it's successful. But sometimes when you have to change your practice, you learn there might even be a better way of doing it, or it opens up another door. So I think, and also times to celebrate, you know, your anniversary. We've got a 75 coming up next year. And I'm thinking of all kinds of things we could do to celebrate. One thing, we're going to have a scavenger hunt to see how many Heart J brands you can find on the ranch. And then we're going to give something away for the person that finds the most Heart J brands. So it's fun to think of new ideas. It keeps your energy going and keeps you excited.
Maybe you have 75 of those brands that you can displace throughout the ranch and for that scavenger hunt.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. We might have more than that already. I have to go find them first. I don't know how many.
Martin, where do you get inspiration and ideas for your projects?
You know, Jeff, a lot of times necessity is the mother of invention. Case in point, COVID. We had some things that just absolutely needed to have a tombstone chiseled on them and planted, and some things did good, but we invented a really cool thing just in the last couple months because of COVID, and fishing is a deal that's got great social distancing, and we created a little restaurant on one of our lakes where it's a welcome center / cherry pie company, and we ended up making a place called Ted's Sweetwater Grill, and we got fishing, and you can catch fish by the inch, and it's just been really popular, really well received. And so necessity is the mother of invention over here. And you know, the other thing is really, like Susan said, but be intangible to your project. Or Scott, you know, Scott knows where every car's parked. He knows where the rain runs off the roof, so you don't park a car there, you know, and that's what you do when you sit on the same project for 30, 40 years. You just quit making the same mistakes twice and things get better. So that's how you invent, and that's how you come up with good ideas.
You mentioned COVID. There are a lot of entrepreneurs and people having a real struggle right now, and I'm sure many are very discouraged as a result of that. What's been the most difficult time that you've ever experienced, and what would you tell an entrepreneur today who might become discouraged? Martin, I'm going to stay with you on that one for starters.
Yeah. You know, the biggest thing, Jeff, and you know me and you know my passion and my love for both God, country, and politics, but the thing about COVID that really upsets me and that pisses me off is that we as a society were talked into hiding in our living rooms. And there wasn't a tank in the streets. There was no marching armies down our streets. We ran into our living rooms. We were told that we were going to die if we went outside. And if you really take the fear out of this and you quit hiding, you realize that in that pile of rubble of COVID is all kinds of opportunity. And so if you're willing to put fear aside and just actually believe in yourself and believe in a higher authority than the government, because quite frankly, I'm not buying any of it. We've declared all of our properties COVID free, so we don't have it out here. So we're not worried about it anymore. I see Scott laughing. Now, all you got to do is declare COVID free and it goes away, Scott. But in all reality, you cannot live in fear. But every time society gives you a pile of rubble, you know, if you're willing to put the work gloves on, there's treasures in that rubble. And, you know, if you're an entrepreneur, you just got to tweak it out. If you're a small business and you're getting your butt kicked, you need to take the assets that you have and you need to tweak the dials on them and you need to go back out and go after it.
Thanks, Martin. Susan, how about you? How have you shifted for COVID on the ranch, and what do you advise to people who are discouraged as a result of what's been happening?
Well, I think it's a tough time right now for anyone who's trying to start a business. I would maybe take a little different approach than you, Martin. If there's a way to hold on to your dream, don't lose it, but set it aside for a while until there's enough predictability that you can actually make a plan for going forward. If we're already in business, we're going to keep in business, of course, and keep trying to hold on and do what we can to keep our business viable. But if you haven't started a business, I would advise don't. Wait. Just wait until this all settles in, and it will be better, and then that's the time to step out. We've been through
Scott,
the COVID is, can I just add one thing, Jeff?
yes, please do. Sorry.
Jeff? I'm sorry. I just wanted to briefly say that as I look at the things that Sylvandale and my family have been through, it's the flood of 1976, the fires in 2000, of course, the economic downturn, the 9/11s, all of those things that all of us have dealt with in business. The most recent was the 2013 flood. And I think resilience is maybe what I have learned from it. And you just have to know, like the other day I said, you know, I know there are some businesses that are not going to survive this, but we're going to be a survivor because we are. So that attitude, I think, has a lot to do with how you get through something. It isn't easy, but for new businesses, if you haven't started, I wouldn't go yet. I'd wait.
Thank you. Scott, how about you?
Well, COVID has been really interesting for us at the dealership. And it's even different between markets. You know, we've got a Toyota dealership in Laramie. We've got a Toyota dealership in Fort Morgan. We've got the one here in Greeley. I can tell you that those three places are all quite a bit different in how they perceive this and how they feel about it. And then you go to a place like Fort Collins or Steamboat, and it's even much different there. I really was laughing. I like Martin's boldness. I hope Martin's right. I hope this thing really isn't any huge threat to our safety or our health. Most everybody I'm around or are familiar with have been healthy. Fortunately, we haven't had many issues related to this. But at the end of the day, what we've really done in each market is try to concentrate on our customers, see how they feel about this. When these customers come in and they're going to test drive a car, we take time to sanitize the car right before they get in it, just in case they are concerned. So I don't know. I'm not an expert on viruses or what they're going to do to people. I hope this thing doesn't. I hope it goes away before it gets worse. But in the meantime, we've just really tried to concentrate on how we can take care of our customers, make them feel comfortable when they come in the dealership. And we've been doing really well. I've been very surprised because I thought we would see a big dip in business. And to be honest with you, we really haven't seen it. There was a dip in the very beginning, especially in the service department, because everyone was being told to stay home. And that's where I agree with Martin. It's like, I think just staying inside your house and avoiding everything was plumb crazy. But anyhow, we've been very fortunate. Our customers are supporting us. They seem to understand. We're trying to work with everybody. Everybody has different feelings and different opinions on the measures we should take. So we try to be a chameleon and work around each one of those situations and make everybody comfortable. So I don't know if I think there was more to the question than that, but that's my opinion on COVID.
Well, thank you. And Susan mentioned economic downturns and other forms of adversity. Scott, what have you learned from this current economic downturn, and how would you compare it with other recessionary periods?
Well, totally different. When 0809 thing hit, I was very involved in a local bank that unfortunately failed. So that was one of the more difficult situations I ever dealt with. At the dealership, we had all the car dealers had an oversupply of product and not enough buyers, and everybody was difficult to give people credit there for a while. We saw a lot of challenges through that time period. And so far, that one was more challenging than this one has been. But this one, it's interesting because with all the plants closed down, we've had a tremendous drop in supply. And now our battle is just trying to find product. So that's unusual. That hasn't been normal at all in our business. Manufacturers are really good at keeping assembly lines going, but through this COVID, there's no doubt that demand outstrips supply, and they're trying to ramp up now and get it to us. But even the used car market is pretty crazy. We just can't seem to find them, and they're selling like crazy. I don't know what. I'm a little concerned about what's going to happen after all this stimulus money goes away, and I hope that. I think along Martin's point, deaths are way, way down. Hospitalizations are way down. Positive test results are up, but it's all young people, from what I can tell, mostly. And those are the people that can't resist being around each other. And, we were all young ones too, right, Martin? I mean, we all had to be together. So I think that's what's driving this, but the media wants to make it out to be as bad as they can because that's how they gather viewers. So,
Susan, how about you? I guess Martin's going to jump in there. Go ahead, Martin.
I was just going to say, Scott, I concur, and some of the living conditions and the things that we were subjected to as children make COVID look like zero threat. I mean, we produced a society that seems to think that anything can be deadly, anything can be scary. And really life is terminal. And I don't want to make light of it because there's been a lot of heartache out of this, especially the people that have suffrage of elderly where they couldn't go see them when they're passing. So I don't want to make light of it. But in my life, my family's life, and my company's family's life, we're not going to sit back and hide and go into a turtle shell because there's something out there that they say could be dangerous. Life is dangerous, and there's all kinds of things that we need to go do. And so I agree with you, Scott. You know, we've been subject to some crazy things in our lives. And if I die from hugging somebody, I probably deserve to die.
There's a little editorial for you. Martin, what have you learned from this economic downturn? You know, maybe something that you've noticed that's different from prior recessionary periods.
You know, the number one and the biggest issue with COVID is there's no ability to plan. The rules change every day. The rules change at the federal level, they change at the state level, they change at the local level. There is no enforcement. I mean, you can seriously, I bet you there's new Colorado rules that came out this week that nobody would even know how to enforce. If you want to watch a fish out of water, look at what the school districts are trying to do. And now the teachers union, they're saying we're not going to go back. And so with the recession in 08, it was pretty simple. You got a hate letter from a bank and you were told what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And if it was your ability to fix it, you would lean into it and fix it. But in this one, there's no rules, and the rules change every hour, and there's no ability to plan or go out with a definite plan to go to the future because the rules could change tomorrow. And just like everything was loosening up in June, so everybody starts going forward, restaurants start ordering more food, gas stations started filling up their tanks, and then next thing you know, they start shutting it back down again. But yet, there's no ability to plan for this one. So COVID is it's a bucket bronco for sure.
Indeed. Susan, how's this one differed for you?
Oh, I don't know that I can add anything new to what has been said. The unpredictability of it is the real thing that is unique in this one. And, you know, what do? You take one day at a time, you do the best you can. You don't let that control you and get frantic or scared or something. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other, do the best you can, and try to be a good citizen and support what we're asked to do. You know, we've set up a lot of, I'm sure as both Martin and Scott have, certain procedures in your business to make it as safe as you can for people to be there, because we have something to offer. And we want to continue to be able to offer that to the people that are in our community, but we have to do it safely for everyone's sake. So I think it's just the unpredictability that would be the biggest difference.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about mistakes, because we need to do that. We all are human and we all make them. I think it was Thomas Edison that had the famous quote about the 14,000 mistakes that he made trying to invent a light bulb, but what he learned was how to get it right. Susan, what was the biggest mistake that you've made in your career, and what did you learn from it?
I was hoping you wouldn't ask that question because I've been trying to figure out, I'm kind of embarrassed, to say I couldn't think of any mistakes. But there is one. Every time I walk into our office, I look straight ahead and I said, yeah, I wish I would have put the sink on this side and the toilet on that side. That's the biggest mistake I could think of.
That could be a big mistake, I guess, depending on right or left-handed.
Well,
what about,
you look down the hall and the doors are open, and you look at the toilet and you could have looked at the sink. So there you go.
All right, Martin, how about you?
Rephrase the question, Jeff.
I was asking about mistakes. What would you say was your biggest mistake in your career, and what did you learn from it?
You know, there's a saying that says there's nothing more expensive than a cheap lawyer. We couldn't even afford lawyers when we started. So the biggest mistake and the biggest advice I give to people when they're starting out is, if it's a partnership, build a really strong partnership agreement up front. You know, give the 5 W's, who, what, where, when, and why. Make sure everybody knows their position. Put an exit strategy in it so that if it's not working out, because that's the one thing that was most difficult for me, was unwinding partnerships that were, you know, were with the best of intentions and we're going to go forever. But people change, marriages change, families change, and so if there's one mistake we had was, we just never had enough money to really put in together good legal advice up front.
How about you, Scott?
Well, you know, I've been given that thought too, much like Susan, but I think we've designed all our bathrooms well, but along with what Martin said, in the car business, obviously I've made many mistakes, but I felt like most of the time I could recognize it pretty quickly, and I could turn it around and you know, get things going the right direction. My biggest struggle and mistake was when I was involved in a bank that failed, and I was only one voice of many. And as the 08-09 period hit, it was very frustrating because I felt like I knew we had to do things much differently, but I didn't have control. And it was a tough partnership I was involved in there. And definitely I felt like in my entire career, the biggest failure that I experienced was when the bank failed. Very, very, very challenging. But I will tell you, I learned more from that experience than any of my successes. Learned a lot about character, a lot about other people, and a whole lot about maybe how to do things differently going forward. So I think that's all we can do when there is a mistake, is try to gather what you can from it and maybe avoid doing the same thing again in the future.
Yeah, well said. Scott, tell us what motivates you to get up and make things happen every day.
You know, I enjoy getting up in the morning, and usually within a few minutes of getting out of bed, I have a priority of things I know I need to tackle. I know who I need to call. It's like it's there, and I just get started. And some days that goes easy, and some days I don't even get those things done, because by the time I'm into something else interferes and I'm going a different direction. I'm finding it as I get older, it's more difficult to multitask. I need to make sure I get one thing done before I start another. I used to be better at it, but I've never had a problem getting up in the morning and just wanting to get going. And I think that's something I just learned from my dad at a very young age, is, you know, you get out of bed and get going and make it your day. So I still enjoy doing that, and it's not hard.
Thank you. Susan, how about you? What motivates you?
My parents left a legacy, and my part is to save the legacy. That's what motivates me. I also enjoy what I do. So it isn't a drudgery. It's an act of love and commitment. But I really do believe that honoring them and knowing that they put this place together and worked so hard to make it come true, their dream come true, and to keeping it going. So I get up every day with that commitment and strike out. I don't mean I strike out. Let me take that back. I start out, I go out. And we're blessed with guests that are now into 4 and 5 generations. Wonderful staff that are so dedicated and work so hard beside us, and it's very encouraging. I'm very encouraged by the response we get from our guests. By we took some of our little servers. They've been coming back every year. College kids, high school kids, come back every summer and work here at the ranch. And we took them up on Eagle Ridge for a breakfast ride yesterday morning. And just the friendships that they've made and the connections with each other and with our guests is just very, very heartwarming.
Yeah, you have some special memories out there. I've been out there myself, and I know that for a fact. Martin, how about you? What motivates you to get things done?
Jeff, I'm in a super fun part of my life right now where we have the horsepower and the velocity behind our projects, where we really are making some significant change over here with both acres wise by moving a lot of stuff around. But the success of the projects is starting to come unfolded, and it's kind of fun to watch. And so, my motivation is just to be the greater good for Northern Colorado, to get to see really fun, cool projects that are going to be here forever. Leaving really cool things cooked into the sausage that people can enjoy forever. Our farms, our open space, our lakes, our golf courses, those things are projects that are just going to be here. When I'm long, long gone, those are going to be fun places for people. So, I'm motivated by family. I'm motivated by Christ. I'm motivated by all those things. But, I'm like Susan. I don't work. I get up and I get my big cheap tablet out and my crayons, and we draw what's going to be fun and send it to the experts, and they make it all work and make the water flow downhill on it. And it's really a fun part of my life. And so, get up in the morning, work out, be with your buddies, laugh, tell jokes, hit the day going.
I like it. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you all about your fears. And, with that, I'd love to know what you are afraid of, if anything, and how you manage that fear so that you can keep striving forward. You want to start with that one, Martin?
My biggest fear in my entire life is the loss of a child or a grandchild. I mean, other than that, I can handle anything. We've been raised to deal with adversity. So short of that type of a personal thing like that, money doesn't motivate me. Money doesn't drive me. It's money comes to the spreadsheet after success fills up the spreadsheet. And so I don't have a fear of financial issues. I have a fear of just health, basically, for my grandkids and my kids.
Good answer. Susan, how about you? What is your greatest fear, and how do you manage that fear?
I think my biggest worry is make it financially. Money is not the motivator, but without it, you can't do what you love. And I am concerned that the COVID, it has impacted us a great deal this year. We're at least 50% down in our revenues. But I was hoping our fall looked pretty good, September and October, and now the cancel. How do I deal with that? I'm in the process right now, with the help of the SBDC, of figuring out how we get the word out that Sylvandale Ranch is the safest place you can go. Open space, private lodging, meeting space big enough to actually have a face-to-face or mask meeting in the same room and be safe, be 6 feet away. We are doing all these sanitation procedures. It really is a safe, and not only is it safe, it's inspiring. It lifts people up. It's a healing place. We're working to try to get the word out to frontline nurses who desperately need to be rejuvenated and find a place to get some R&R. So that's what I'm doing. I'm taking action. I'm not just sitting and crying. I'm saying if people just knew, we would have people here.
Yeah, I appreciate that. As I mentioned before, the guest ranch is certainly a great place for people to recharge their batteries. So perhaps we can assist you with that. Scott, how about you? What's your greatest fear and how do you deal with it?
You know, I don't feel like I really have fear. I think I have concerns, and those change almost every day, depending on what's happening to the people around me. Because what Martin said, obviously my family. I don't have grandkids yet, but that's probably not too far away. Is critical. But not only that, but just all the great old friends I have. I've lived in Greeley my whole life, and a lot of very close friends that every day it seems like you hear about somebody else having a different struggle. And so for me, it's more the concerns I encounter every day about the people that I'm closest to, and mostly it's their health or maybe how they're doing in their life or their relationships. So I think I just care a lot about other people that I've known or have been around, and that's probably my biggest concern. Although I used to feel a lot more that way about business, I've been fortunate. Business is really good, and I really don't have fear when it comes to how our business is working. Although I'm sure if we hit a really tough time period, I might answer that differently. But so far, I've been very fortunate.
Well, as we conclude here, I want to ask you all about mentors. You all mentioned parents, and perhaps parents are or were your mentors, but I'd love to have you all tell us a little bit about your mentor, starting with you, Scott.
Well, boy, I got a whole lot of them. It started with my father, but this day and age, I spend a lot of time around a lot of my fellow Toyota dealers, and there's a few of them that are older than me and I look up to greatly. There's a lot of mentors here in town, guys like that I've been fortunate to work with, like Bob Toynton and friends like Dale Boehner and Roger Knopf. There's a lot of guys around here that I've been very fortunate to learn a lot from that have been very successful themselves. But now I find myself finding mentors. I have a business partner who's been with me for 19 years, and we've had a great relationship, and he always claimed I was his mentor. But I feel like more recently, with his growth and development, I think he's become my mentor. We're co-mentors. So, it's such an important thing to have that kind of relationship with people where you feel like you're always there to help each other any way you can.
Absolutely. How about you, Susan? Mentors.
Of course, I'm going to mention my parents. They are my biggest mentors. My mom's childhood wonder and her unconditional love set the bar pretty high. My dad never gave up. But don't be afraid to take calculated risks. I've not been very good at that, so I need his mentorship there. His idea of I'd rather try and fail than not try at all. My Gramps was my mentor too. He taught me how to drive a tractor, play pool, and he introduced me to chickens. Beyond my family, I think my mentors, and I just thought of this actually as you were asking the question, Jeff. It's people who have risen above the their challenges or adversity. I Art, and I don't even know his last name, but Art, he used to have Arts TV, if you remember, here in Loveland. And he has dealt with his illness with such strength and such positive smile. He comes to our yoga class every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I mean, he does not let it get him down. I think of another friend, actually was our insurance agent. The same. You would not know that he had a terminal illness. He lives every day so fully. And Courtney Frazier, who is the executive director of our Dude Ranch Association, Colorado Dude and Guest Ranch Association. She has been such a beacon to all of us through this, and always upbeat and helping everyone navigate our way through this. So I think that's the common thread of people that are mentors for me. And I hope I can live up to the example they've set.
Thank you. How about you, Martin? Last word. Who's your mentor?
You know, Jeff, that's a double-edged sword. Obviously, growing up on a farm and actually having my grandparents on the farm a quarter mile down the road, I had four just incredible mentors, two terrific parents and two terrific grandparents that all had their own unique qualities for different aspects of work or philosophy or life. But I had that first 15 years with all four of them. It was just amazing. But, you know, as an adult and getting into business, I actually was mentored by some guys that I worked for that I would go home at night and go, I never, ever want to be like those guys. So the model that they were cutting and the model that they were doing was something that I never wanted to be like. So I actually was mentored on both sides, both that foundational and fundamental strong ethic and honorable work side. And then also I got privileged. I got to see some crazy high wealth people in Greeley that, quite frankly, I got to work intimately with them, and I did not want to be like that when I grew up. So I was mentored both ways.
Well, I certainly want to extend my thank you to all of you and welcome you again to the Bravo Masterclass. Your stories were really interesting and inspirational, and I really appreciate you all taking the time to visit with us today. So thank you all very, very much. And audience, at this time, we're going to shift gears and get ready for our ceremony. So if you'll give production just a minute here to kind of flip things out. Again, thank you very much to the master class. We'll be right back with you in just a few moments. And now it's time for our awards ceremony. The sculpture that you will see in our videos and on screen tonight was created by Loveland artist Bobby Carlisle and is titled Self-Made Man or Self-Made Woman, and captures the vision of a man carving himself out of stone or herself sculpting. Winners of Bravo Entrepreneur Award must have demonstrated the best traits of entrepreneurship, including a willingness to take risk, drive, and perseverance. The entrepreneur must be the founder of the business or have been critical to its growth, and the company must be based or have been founded in either Larimer or Weld counties. And our first Bravo Award this evening goes to Mike Bergerson, CEO, on behalf of Orthopaedic and Spine Center of the Rockies. And if I may, I want to give you some background here. OCR got its start in 1969 when 4 physicians pioneered and supported procedures such as internal fixative devices for trauma and fracture surgeries. Those doctors were Dr. Charles Colopy, Dr. Robert Johnson, Dr. Benedict Magsamen, and Dr. Douglas Murray. All of them were early adopters of arthroscopic surgery that involves using a surgical scope and small incisions to operate on damaged joints such as knees and shoulders. Following the merger with Front Range Orthopaedics and Spine in Longmont and the full integration of both organizations, the center will have 45 physicians and surgeons, 34 physician assistants and nurse practitioners, and other professional and support staff, bringing the total number of employees to approximately 600 people. Congratulations, Mike Bergerson and Orthopedic and Spine Center of the Rockies. Now I
congratulations to the OCR team, Dr. Trumper, Dr. Johnson, Mike. Congratulations on behalf of FNBO and BizWest for earning the Bravo Entrepreneurial Award. So congratulations for everything you do in the community and for healthcare in Northern Colorado. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We accept that on behalf of OCR, current and past physicians, and current and past employees. So, and Dr. Johnson, you want to say a few words?
Well, I was just saying a few minutes ago that we're recognized as being very entrepreneurial, but we weren't always this successful. Our first effort was when we built this building, and after a year, all the doctors who were signing notes at your bank for the construction had to come up with some additional cash. We had a negative bonus the first year, and fortunately things have gotten better. And when we started, we had 4 employees. Now we have about 500. So that if you look at numbers, that's a good number.
Absolutely.
You know, just to add to the next chapter after what Bob was talking about is, you know, we've been very fortunate, and this community has treated us very well, and we're proud to be a part of that community. But really, our success goes clear back to when the founding fathers, including Dr. Johnson, established the culture and the foundation to make this organization as successful as it has become. And I want to thank them and Dr. Johnson for that foundation.
Excellent. Well, congratulations. There's obviously couldn't be a better, more deserved award recipient than this group and OCR and everything stand for. So again, thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Our second award this evening goes to entrepreneurs Jeff Demaske and Larry Buckendorf of Journey Homes. In the 1990s, Jeff Demaske had no intention of building houses. Instead, as the owner of J&J Construction, his plan was to prepare lots for other builders. That plan, however, took a different direction when some builders couldn't close on the lots during the economic downturn in the late 90s. So he did what they couldn't do, and that was to build a handful of houses. He acquired Journey Homes in 2003, and the rest is history. Today, Damaski, along with Larry Buckendorf, who became his partner in 2001, and Scott Shoemaker, who became a minority partner in 2017, oversee 3 companies: Journey Homes, J&J Construction, and Crow Creek Construction, with a total of 125 employees. Congratulations, Jeff Demaske and Larry Buckendorf of Journey Homes.
Larry, on behalf of Flood and Peterson and all the entrepreneurs in Northern Colorado, congratulations on this prestigious award, and thank you for everything that you've done to make our communities a better place to live.
Thanks, Brett. It's quite an honor. Thank you very much. We're very proud, and thank you for being the sponsor.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you.
Congratulations to Jeff and Larry and Journey Homes. There it is. We have a live feed. Congratulations,
Looks like it's
guys.
working. Bob, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. You are live.
Is your audio working, Larry?
Can you hear me?
We can.
Yeah.
I can hear both of you loud and clear. So congratulations. I know you're both in different places tonight, but we're spreading the love to you over the internet.
Do you want to say something, Larry, or do you want me to?
Jeff, why don't you go ahead? It looks like Larry's sound is cutting out.
Yeah, well, I'd just like to say thanks for the award. It's a great award, and we're very proud to accept it. As you said in your introduction, you know, I started this thing in the mid-'90s there, and with the intention to develop some land, and ended up becoming a home builder, which has been a great success for us. I think our principles around here that we built for the mainstream or the average man and average family has been great for our success. We actually just this week closed on our 9,000th house, so we're pretty proud of that. And we built about 3,000 apartments also, which we have the same philosophy and try to provide affordable housing for the communities, and it's worked. As you said, also Crow Creek Construction's another one of our entities that installs pipe and builds streets and that kind of stuff, land development. It's been a great success. We're proud of the award. We don't plan on quitting anytime soon. You know, a lot of people don't know a lot about me or know my name per se, with the businesses we're involved in, but I've told a lot of people that's because I spend as much money keeping my name out of the paper as Martin Lynn does getting his name in the paper. So little joke there, but again, thanks a lot. We appreciate the award, and we'll keep doing what we're doing, and look forward to seeing who the next winner is.
Well, thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that, and congratulations to you and Larry. Looks like we lost his feed. I know he's up in the mountains today, and at least we got to see his mugshot on screen briefly there.
Yeah, he's
Rich,
a better talker than he is booker, so.
I'm not going to comment on that one.
All right, Jeff. Well, thank you.
Thank you. All right, our third and final honoree tonight is a repeat customer. Larry Kendall of the group and Ninja Selling received the Lifetime Achievement Award many years ago, and this year for his continued work within the region, we're honoring him with the Regional Spirit Award. During his career that does span 5 decades, Larry has helped thousands of people find their home of their dreams, and he's helped thousands of agents hone their skills to aid in those transactions. Along the way, he has volunteered time and effort to help the Northern Colorado community. He co-founded the group in 1976 and co-created Ninja Selling in 1994. And over that time, he has been the president of the Fort Collins Chamber, the president of the Fort Collins Area United Way, chairman of the Colorado State University Development Council, alumni fellow at Kansas State University, Kansas State University College of Business Dean's Advisory Board, and director at First Bank Holding Company. Larry and his wife, Pat, have helped so many organizations during the years, including Respite Care. And I think we've got our trophy handoff video to run for you now.
Congratulations. On behalf of FNBO, I'm just happy to award this Bravo Entrepreneurial Award to you. So congratulations again on behalf of FNBO and BizWest.
Well, thank you. Thanks, Nathan. I really appreciate it. It's a great honor, and I'm very honored. And thank you for the award, and thanks to BizWest for the great work you do in our community.
Welcome.
Larry, I'd like to congratulate you on behalf of Flood and Peterson, and more importantly, all of the individuals in this community who have bought homes from you. And based on everything that you did and the entrepreneurial spirit and all the things that you've made available for people that wouldn't have been there otherwise without all your efforts. So thank you from the community on behalf of BizWest as well.
Well, thanks, Brett. I appreciate that, and thank you for the honor.
And
thank you for all you do in the community. It's an honor to be recognized, and thanks to BizWest again for this great event and also for the great work in our community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There he is,
Hey,
Larry.
Jeff.
We've got you live now. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, you sound great. I've asked
Great,
Larry to
great.
share some thoughts and ideas with us tonight. And so with that, we welcome Larry and take it away.
Well, thank you, Jeff. Thanks for the wonderful introduction. I really appreciate you and your work. You know, I'd like to just share a few stories. In 1971, Roy Disney, Walt's brother, cut the ribbon at the grand opening of Disney World in Orlando, Florida. And the reason Roy Disney cut that ribbon is because Walt Disney had passed away 5 years earlier, and Roy Disney was now running the company. As people flooded into the park, a reporter commented to Roy Disney, says, "Wow, this place is amazing. Isn't it a shame that Walt isn't here to see it?" And Roy Disney replied, "Oh, Walt saw it all right. That's why it's here." Walt Disney had a vision, and he also had the creativity to make that vision happen. And creation is so important in business. And you know, Walt Disney believed, I believe, that we are here to create, not to compete for that which is already created. And I just want to acknowledge BizWest for organizing this event and acknowledging companies and people who are creators, who build businesses and build really northern Colorado. And it's just a great opportunity. And I want to thank you for this award. And I want to recognize all of the current award winners and past award winners for building such a great environment in northern Colorado. And I really think BizWest, you have provided a lot of the culture and the glue for that, and you've helped to really build a great business community. I want to mention a couple things. You know, Pat and I came to Colorado in 1973. We grew up in Kansas. We went to Kansas State University. I was in the ROTC, so I went in the Army. I was a captain in the Army in Germany in a little mountain village. And we fell in love with the mountains. We said, you know, when we come back, let's go to Colorado. So we drove basically the Front Range. We started in Colorado Springs, Denver, Boulder, drove into Fort Collins, and we'd never been here before, but it felt just like home. And at that time, there was a song on the radio by John Denver called Rocky Mountain High. And there's a lyric in that song that says, "I was born in the summer of my 27th year, coming home to a place I've never been to before." And ironically, I was 27 that summer, and I was coming to Fort Collins, which felt like home, but I'd never been here before. And that song's playing, and Pat says, "I think this is a sign. I think this is where we need to be." So we dropped anchor, and here we are. We don't know a single person in this town. We've never been here before. And so we started out, and I think we had a lot of luck. Number one, it was the best decision we've made. The town at that time was 35,000, about 15,000 were students. We grew up with the town. We grew up with northern Colorado, and very, very fortunate to live here. I don't know that we could have achieved what we did had we been someplace else. The fact that we were in northern Colorado with a vibrant, growing business community really made a difference for us. And you know, when I say we were lucky, I'd like to talk about luck for a minute. I was listening to Jim Collins speak. Jim is the author of many business books. Probably his most famous book is Built to Last. He was giving a presentation in Denver. I was in the audience, and in the question and answer period, somebody said, "Well, Jim, what's the role of luck?" And Jim said, "You know, I just did a research study on that. And it's pretty clear in business that luck does occur, and luck does play a role in success." But what I found was that the most successful people take advantage of luck when it arrives. And other people, the luck arrives, but they, for whatever reason, don't take advantage of it. And he kind of described that process. And in my head, I learned through trial and error what I call the 3Ds of success, the 3D process. The first D is to dream, to have a vision, similar to Walt Disney, to have a vision for your business. And related to that is your values, vision and values. And if you have that vision, then you're more prepared when luck knocks at your door. The second D is dedicate and be a hard worker. And again, you've got to be prepared when luck occurs, that you've prepared yourself and you are prepared to take advantage of that luck. The third D is to dare. And that involves taking risk. And I know over the years we've taken some risks. Sometimes it didn't work out. Most of the times it did. But you know, when luck knocks on your door, if you're not willing to open the door, if you're not willing to take that risk, you're not going to have the luck. And so I would encourage entrepreneurs, I would encourage especially young entrepreneurs to dream, dedicate, and dare. I've been very fortunate in my time here in Northern Colorado. You mentioned five decades. And I've had 4 careers, really. The first one was in 1976. We formed the Group Real Estate Company as an employee-owned company and grew it from originally 12 owners to now over 200. Along the way, we changed, in many ways, how real estate is done, really received national recognition for it. And I will always appreciate my partners at the group. Without the group and the partners, the groupies as we call them, I wouldn't be honored here tonight. Secondly, I want to give a shout out to all of my friends at First Bank. I retired from First Bank last year after 25 years on their board. I just appreciate all the First Bankers and them inviting me on their board. What I learned from them was amazing. My third career was ninja selling. And as Jeff mentioned, I started teaching ninja selling classes in 1994. And those classes now have over 80,000 graduates. We've now taught ninja in over 40 countries. We just this summer taught some virtual classes in countries around the country. And I just want to acknowledge all of the Ninja team for the work that you're doing to change lives and change the sales industry. And finally, I was fortunate enough to be called one day by Dr. Ajay Menon. He was the Dean of the College of Business. He and Dr. Ehrlich invited me to come over and teach in the College of Business for 10 years. And that was a great experience for me to be able to work with young people. I have hundreds of students that I stay in touch with. Many of them are here in Northern Colorado. Several of them are with our company. And that was a very rewarding experience for me. So I feel very blessed with all that has happened and with living in one of the greatest places in the world and being, surrounded by, great business people, great thinkers. And I finally want to acknowledge my family, especially my wife, Pat. We've been married now 52 years. She's my partner. I don't make any major decisions without her. We've got 2 great kids, Kristen, our daughter, Matt, our son, and then we've got 2 great grandkids. And to put it in perspective as to how fortunate I think we are, I was at a party here several years ago, and they were playing a game at the dinner table. And the game was, if you could come back, who would you want to come back as? And as they went around the table, people would say, I want to come back as Abraham Lincoln, or I want to come back as a movie star or a rock star or the CEO of a company or an inventor. And when they got to us, Pat and I said, we would like to come back as us. We have lived a very blessed life and we have much to be grateful for. And if we could come back and do it all over again, that's what we would do. I think that tells you how we feel about each other and how we feel about living in Northern Colorado and the life that we've enjoyed. So With that, I want to thank Jeff and your entire team for the wonderful Bravo Award, and also thank you for all that you have done for the business community in creating an environment where business can succeed and learn from each other. So, Jeff, thank you so much, and I again thank you for inviting me to be with you tonight.
Larry, thank you. The pleasure is all mine. What a great success story, and thank you for sharing your thoughts and ideas with us tonight. At this point, I want to congratulate all of our honorees again. We're all applauding for you. Sorry that the technology didn't work well for those virtual applauses, but we'll keep trying and get better. Before we depart, I also want to acknowledge again our wonderful sponsors, FNBO and Flood and Peterson Insurance. Those are our title sponsors again this year. I want to thank Palmer Flowers, and I want to thank Da Vinci Sign Systems. And I also want to pay special thanks to the BizWest team, all of whom play a vital role in putting these events on, whether they be in person or virtual. But I especially want to thank Rich Bussin, who is our events director, for helping us figure out how to pivot and use this technology so that the show could indeed go on. Of note, for those of you networking on our Brella platform, that feature will be open until 7 p.m. tonight. Congratulations once again to all of our winners, and thank you all for attending. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Goodbye now.